With our legal team, GMA legal analyst Dan Abrams and Nancy Grace in Phoenix covering the trial for her HLN show. And Nancy, let me begin with you. Is Jodi Arias going to get what she wants, the death penalty?
Well, I'm not so sure that's what Jodi Arias wants. If she's trying to use reverse psychology, it's not working. Remember, she took the stand for 18 days, which is unprecedented, in a bid to save her own life. And now, just because she takes to the airways within literally minutes of a murder one conviction, she's plopping down in front of the lights and the camera to speak again, probably hoping the jury and others will hear her. I'm not really persuaded. And as she goes on in that interview, she goes on to call the murder victim, Travis Alexander, who's dead in the ground with his neck slashed, a hypocrite, right? So I'm not that crazy about this interview.
I agree on this issue with Nancy. I think that she's trying to manipulate the jury. My guess is that she does want the jury to come back with a life sentence, and that she's hoping that by saying she'd prefer death, that the jurors will then punish her, so to speak, by giving her life in prison. It is amazing when you think about it, right? We're talking about someone who was just convicted moments earlier of first-degree murder. Her life is on the line. And what is the first thing she does? She sits down in front of a camera to tell the world, you know what, I didn't expect this, but I want death. There's no other way to interpret it other than her effort to talk to the jurors. And she lies so often that it's hard to trust anything that comes out of her mouth.
And Nancy, she's so calm and so clinical.
And Dan, don't you know her lawyers were doing a backflip? You know they did not want her to sit down in front of a camera because remember, everything she's saying, the Constitution will protect her from overbearing state action, i.e. the police. But the Constitution does not protect you from blabbing to journalists. So all of this can come in at the next two phases of trial.
Yeah, but I think that I don't know that would help the prosecution per se, because I don't think that they want to take the position to give Jodi what she wants.
A hypocrite?
Well, no, that part, but I'm talking about wanting death.
So walk us through, Dan, walk us through exactly what happens next.
So the first phase of this is pretty easy. Meaning they're going to have to demonstrate an aggravating factor here. That's not going to be difficult to show how cruel and heinous this crime was. And they're going to call a witness, maybe a couple, basically to just talk about how gruesome this crime was. You then move forward pretty quickly to the death penalty phase, where there will be a little mini trial, but a very different kind of trial, because there the issue isn't was she guilty, did she do it? The question is, do the aggravating factors, meaning the reasons to give the death penalty, outweigh the mitigating factors? The problem for Jodi Arias is that it's tough to figure out what the mitigating factors are here in this case. And look, I've said from the beginning that I don't think this is a death penalty case. But as a technical legal matter, this is going to be a tough defense for Jodi Arias.
Nancy, anything the defense can do right now?
Well, yes, they can shut Jodi Arias up, number one. We're moving into a pretty quick phase. It should be a quick phase called aggravation. Every jurisdiction that has a death penalty has, say, 5 to 15 aggravating factors. The state has limited their choice to cruel, heinous manner of death. So the state, I believe, intends to call medical examiner Dr. Kevin Horn to explain to the jury what this man went through prior to his death. The repeat stabbings, the slash across the neck, when he stood over his bathroom sink and looked into the mirror and saw himself dying. His effort to get away, but no, he didn't get away. She got him and slashed his throat and shot him so he would never be detected by others and let his body decompose in the shower. That's cruel. It's not guilty or not guilty or innocent. It's proven or unproven. Did you prove that circumstance? If the jury says yes, we move into sentencing phase.
Okay. Nancy, Dan, thanks very much.